Awful. I feel like it takes forever. Oh, wait. All right, everyone. Oh my God, how are you?
Hi.
Happy Wednesday!
Happy Wednesday. I totally I had everything prepped, and then anyway, welcome to Crossing the Streams. This is where we answer the universal question: what should I be binge watching next? I just finished something, and now I gotta watch something else. We've come to the right place. Collectively, we have over 17,000 binge watching hours between us. This is episode 146 of Crossing the Streams. That means we have 145 hours of binge watching suggestions just waiting for you on YouTube, just sitting there waiting for you to discover it. It's there. Go find it. Yes. So I think we're live on Instagram. So hopefully people are there. We've got two first-time guests today. I'm so excited. Katie and Natalie. How are you? Katie. And
Cataly.
Whatever. I just when
works.
you start moving fast, the words come out however they come out.
Good.
Katie of the VHS Club. I'm sure everyone knows that already. But like, Katie, introduce yourself. Let everyone know about your cool show. Natalie, you can do the same right after. So don't use up everything. Last time there were two people, and the first person went on, the second person went, I don't have anything to add. I was like, all right.
Well, hi everyone. It's so exciting to be here. I'm Katie, and I am the co-host along with Nat of our show, the VHS Club. We rewatch movies from the 80s, 90s, and today, early 2000s. Early aughts. Some we've seen before, and some that are recommended by our awesome followers and fans who we call Tater Tots. We review with a potato rating between 1 and 5. It's normally always 5, but we have a lot of fun.
Not always, but usually.
Not always, but usually. Over to you, Nat.
We just watch movies based purely on bias that we enjoy, and we give them good ratings because we enjoy them. And sometimes we watch things that we really dislike just because, like, let's talk about that too. Really, we'll watch anything.
We do that here too. It's more of a warning.
Yeah.
But well, welcome. And then we have a returning friend of the show, Mick Manhattan. How are you,
Thanks
sir?
for having me, Jeff. Appreciate it. Thanks, Marcy. Appreciate it. Nice to meet you, Katie and Natalie.
Nice to meet
Appreciate it. What happened to this song? You guys getting rid of it?
Well, we had some change in the folks, so most of the people in the song aren't here anymore. So so it didn't make sense, like it's just Marcy and I. So we got to come up with a new theme song. So I challenge our audience to come up with a new theme song.
Do it to I Dream of Jeannie.
Yeah, I might start writing that.
I'll listen to Marcy. That's what you should call it.
Hey, Devin. We got hello, Devin.
That's right.
Audrey is here. Lee, how are you, Lee? Jerry's not here yet, but I'm sure he'll be here soon. What's up? We got Bass Hole Show and Tim on Instagram. We're burning up. So exciting. Okay, so sometimes at this point of the show, first I want to say R.I.P. to Joe Flaherty. I loved. Did you guys ever watch CTV? Are you guys too young?
Yeah, no, we are not too young.
I don't know.
We live
Take off.
We grew up in Canada, so we're big fans of SCTV.
So yeah, he was the best. It was but anyway, I underrated perhaps, but pretty solid dude. I had Dave Thomas on my podcast. We talked SCTV for a long time.
So cool.
So it's always when someone passes away and I'm like, oh, I should have reached out. That would have been perfect for my podcast.
That's why my podcast, Newer People Conversations, is way better because they're not going to die for a long time.
Right.
Matt and I are in trouble.
Yet.
Classic Conversations where the average age of our guests is 72. It is
I
true.
listen.
I've had multiple people die before they actually recorded,
Oh,
like in process, but anywho, but that's where all the interesting stories are, though. The people that are new right now, they can't spill the beans. They still got to work.
Mhm.
So
It's true.
yeah,
True
it's
story.
true. So all right, so let's see here. I'm still watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I'm in
Great
season
show.
6.
all right.
Good,
So
You're
good.
doing great. You're doing great.
Yeah,
Jeff.
thank
that's
you,
awesome.
Marcy. So I'm gonna do a full review. Hey, Carmen. So we got, anyways, good time. Okay, so what do we got here? We got a great show today. We really do. It's one of the, some are saying the best show ever. So last week, episode 145, if you missed last week and catch it on YouTube, we talked about Quiet on Set, the dark side of kids TV, which has a bonus episode coming out, I believe, in a few days. Masters of the Air and The Gentleman. You guys watched Quiet on Set? It's quite.
I've
did.
seen part of it.
I've seen clips. Yeah, I haven't.
None of it's
dived all the way in.
surprising,
One.
Yeah.
which is, I guess, awful to say.
And
Yeah,
I
we
mean,
did
Corey
a-
Feldman's been talking about it for decades,
yeah,
We
Corey
did an in-depth
Feldman
look.
and about what happened to Corey Haim and
and himself. Yeah,
yeah, and all that. And then Amanda Bynes. I feel so bad for her. I mean,
Yeah.
Oh, awful.
awful, especially when you say, I never watched some of those shows that they featured. They were like, my kids were after. Like I came in at iCarly. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
so I didn't see some of those earlier shows. So I never saw the Amanda Bynes show or anything like that. But like, so in
Yeah.
seeing it, I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, don't worry. They cover iCarly in it.
Oh, no, I know.
Yeah,
I know.
you're
I watched the whole
covered.
thing. I watched the whole thing, but I
That
mean,
guy
it's
had
like,
like 17 years. Like,
yeah.
insane and disgusting.
Yeah, it was crazy.
yeah. Amanda
So-
Bynes was such a funny. She was so naturally talented and just
Correct.
really funny. Like I know her more from movies because I never had the Disney Channel. I don't know if that's a Canadian thing and only people on satellite had it, but it wasn't really common here.
It's a
And-
rich American thing.
It's a rich
yeah,
American.
No, I mean like Canadian that we don't have it.
Yeah.
So-
Yeah.
But yeah, so we kind of never really had any of those shows. Also, it would have been out of our age group, but we did see a lot of her movies that were really cute.
Yeah.
so.
She was great.
She was
Yeah.
great. Yeah.
She was great.
Yeah.
Oh,
She's still with us. We're talking about her.
yeah.
past.
She's still
Well,
great. She's just
we don't. Yeah, we
We don't
mean
really. She's not with us. I mean, she's
Yeah.
been gone. We've
Yeah.
all been wondering what's been going on with her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
She's
just
on
mean
TikTok.
She's, you know,
She's on TikTok.
like,
She's,
knock on wood. She's still
Yeah.
fine.
Matt
alive.
and Sarah, hello on Instagram. So we are about to dive into today's episode. We're going to talk about Clueless, The Goonies, Godzilla X Kong, like, and Fargo season 5, very specifically season 5. They're all kind of standalones. So
Correct.
we are going to kick things off with Fargo season 5.
Right out of
and
the gate.
right out of the gate, Marcy.
Well, I am going to talk about season 5 because, well, I've seen season 5 and I've seen season 1 in that order. I was with a friend who asked if I'd been watching Fargo. I said I hadn't. It started in 2014, the series. It is based off the movie from 1996 the Coen brothers did with William Macy. And this is a fabulous series. And this friend was, he was so excited about how great season 5 was. He let me know that every season was different. You did not need to see the other seasons. Go ahead and start with season 5. And I was blown away by this entire story. Ted Lasso stars Juno Temple. She plays Keely. And this was what he was mostly excited about. Really, the acting in season 5 is amazing. So Keely from Ted Lasso is the lead role in this drama, in this dark comedy. And she does not play a character that is at all like Keely from Ted Lasso. And she is an incredible actress. She can do anything. I really had to look her up and see what else she'd been in. And I am going to watch a movie called Magic Magic from 2013 that she, I think, won some sort of award in. Anyway, it's with and Michael Cera. Who's the guy from Arrested Development? The
Yeah.
kid.
Michael
Michael
Cera.
Cera.
Yep.
Yeah, he's in it too. I've never heard of it. Ladies, have you ever heard of Magic Magic? Yeah.
No, but I'm
No.
writing it down if he's in it.
Write it down.
I do know
Yeah, he's in
Juno
it, and he's great
Temple.
too. So,
He's a good
Eddie
actor
Juno
from-
Temple and John Hamm
Oh.
are in this. Now, let me just tell you, I've written this down here. And if you remember from the movie Fargo, it's based on a true story, which is a lie. None of Fargo is a true story. And they get to say that because, I mean, there's really no law written that you can't say it's based on a true story and lie about it. There's just no group out there that's bringing people, into custody for lying about a true story. So every episode of all 5 seasons starts out with something like this. The following events took place in Minnesota in 2019. At the request of the survivors, the names have been changed. Out of respect for the dead, the rest has been told exactly as it occurred. Now, during the entire season 5, thought that was true. I'm like, I cannot believe that this really happened. This is amazing. And I was going to Google it, but I didn't want to know how the story ended until I was done. And then it did end. And I mentioned it to another friend and they're like, oh yeah, that's not real. None of Fargo is real. And I was a little disappointed. So anyway, I always try and not spoil anything. And I know that my brother popped in here and he hasn't seen season 5 yet. And I promised him I would not ruin anything. So I am just going to sell it as best I can when I say, I don't care if you've not seen season 1, 2, 3, 4. You can start with season 5. You can start with any season you want. It's kind of like that show on Netflix we watched where you could pick a color and you could go in any order. I know Jeff and I both watched that. I don't remember what it was
Nobody
called.
watched it. That was like a big
Kaleidoscope.
deal, and then nobody watched it. Nobody ever.
Kaleidoscope.
Yeah.
It was a
It was
pretty
called
good show.
Kaleidoscope. I thought it was
was a
kind of
really
cool.
good
Like it
idea.
depended on the order you watched it.
Yeah,
True
it was like a
Detective,
kind of-
I think, is the same way.
Yeah, True Detective
Okay.
is the same concept.
Well, once again, Juno Temple is amazing. She was nominated Golden Globe. Her and John Hamm were both nominated. I do not believe either one of them won. And it is kind of edge of your seat, a great binge. A lot of shows I like to watch, but I could take months to finish. This was something I had to finish in a few days. The Coen brothers were very excited when Noah Hawley, Hawley, I don't know how to pronounce his name. He impressed them with a story for season 1. He wanted to continue the Fargo stories, and they were like, "We'll be executive producers. We like what you've got." He's done an incredible job. I've read lots of articles about Fargo, the series, and I read someone wrote in order of what they think the best is, and this particular person said season 2 is the best. I am just starting that. I will probably watch it as soon as this podcast is over. I just finished season 1 with Billy Bob Thornton. It was fabulous.
Yeah.
And I've seen, of course, season 5. So I still have Chris Rock, I think, is in season 4. And it's all like different eras. These stories are so different. They're all in different years and totally different characters. There's a lot of references to lots of Coen brother movies, lots of references to the Fargo movie, and it just really does not disappoint. It was originally with FX. I'm currently watching it on Hulu. They're just about like 50-minute episodes. I'll call it like an hour. And they're mostly taking place in North Dakota and Minnesota. Of course, you've got the great, it's amazing, the Fargo accents. Jeff, another person that's in season 5, you got me to watch the show, the comedy,
Jennifer
Never
Jason
Have
Leigh.
Oh yeah, well, I've got a list. Okay, do you want to talk about her? Thank you for reminding me, but Never Have I Ever.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
So the cousin that comes to live with her, she plays a Fargo police officer with the Fargo accent, and she's incredible. She's got such a great role. But yes, Jennifer Jason Leigh does have a fabulous role in this, and I'm a huge fan of hers. She was in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, which I'm sure you guys have talked about on your podcast. I'm assuming that you've done that on yours. But Jennifer Jason Leigh has played some incredible characters, and one of my favorites was a sister in Weeds. I think season 5 of Fargo is probably my favorite character of hers. She's outstanding. She's absolutely phenomenal in season 5 of Fargo. Yes, that was huge for me. I did not know she was in it. It's kind of a spoiler that I'm telling you that because it was such a fun surprise when she came on screen. I was super excited to see her there. Looking over my notes, I think it's pretty much everything that I wanted to touch on. So like I said, feel free to start with season 5 if that kind of bothers you and you really can't handle it. Go ahead and start with season 1. Like I said, that was a great series too with Billy Bob Thornton. And it'll take you a while to get up to season 5, but this was just a ton of fun for me. Juno Temple is incredible in this series. There's 10 episodes and it's a fun ride. So Mick, I have a question. Have you seen it?
I've seen the first 3 seasons. I haven't seen 4 or 5 yet, but I've heard great things about both.
Okay.
So, and the show's just amazing. It is a lot. It's a big undertaking.
Yeah. Did you like season 2 better than season 1?
I think they progressively have gotten better each time.
Okay, good. Okay. I still think that season 5 was better than season 1.
Okay.
But you also watched it first.
Well, I haven't watched 5 yet. I've only watched first 3. So
you haven't seen 5, but you said it keeps getting better and better. I can't wait. I'll probably watch the rest in order.
4 and 5 is like really high praise right now. So
Marcy's gonna have the opposite review. She's gonna be like, it keeps getting worse and worse and
We're
worse.
just kidding. It's going down now.
No, 5 was
season
better
1
than
and
1,
5
but
the
I did love 1. It was
1 was
One
phenomenal.
Yeah.
You guys, Jennifer Jason Leigh, did you guys see Atypical? Did you watch that?
No,
she was great in that.
Atypical is a great series. What is that on? Is that on Netflix?
Yeah, it was Netflix.
I'm gonna have to watch it.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Michael Rappaport.
I did not see it.
How's John Hamm in this? Is he really good?
John Hamm is amazing.
I've seen some clips with him, man. He looks
He does
terrifying.
he doesn't disappoint. He's always like not what you would expect him to be in anything, and he's always
he does a great job with this character, and he's such an asshole.
He's horrific.
I mean, he's great.
Sociopathic.
More of a jerk than he was in Wedding Crashers to Kirsten Wiig.
How?
Much worse.
Okay.
I think what I liked about season 5, it seems so horrifying, especially as a Canadian watching it, but also just seems so possible.
Oh no.
Not to say any spoilers, but I'm like, it's kind of terrifying, but it was amazing, incredible to watch. And Juno Temple, like child actor from the UK, so she's been doing this forever.
She's
and
fantastic.
She's very good. Yeah,
I'm excited to check out this season.
And before this, I just thought that she was Ted Lasso.
Canadians now.
I know you're True story.
My favorite thing from her, Juno, in Ted Lasso, she was great in everything. But like the when she's doing the karaoke, when they go to, I think they go somewhere and she doesn't even remember doing this infomercial.
Yeah.
To say,
and it's on in every hotel.
Yeah. Karaoke.
Yeah.
Do you know she does the for TikTok and I think for YouTube, she now with the same hairstyle as that does the hotels.com ads.
Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah.
So it worked out well.
That is so funny. All right.
Great.
All right,
Great
everyone.
show.
Fargo season 5.
I'm in.
And then you can go in any order.
Any order.
That's good to know because I loved season 1 and then I got distracted with other shows. So I'll skip ahead to season 5 and then backtrack.
All right, let's
absolutely. You have my permission.
Let's talk about The Goonies. The Goonies, the classic movie.
Can I ask a question before we talk about who's talking about The Goonies?
I am.
Is this a first time watch?
No.
Okay, okay. No. If it was, I was excited because I really want to hear like somebody's first time perspective of the movie, but at the same time, it's like still enthusiasm.
I tell you, my brother's grown up first time perspective watching it ruined the movie almost for me, but
yeah, there are parts in it that On our show, we joke a lot that I am probably like one of the least observant people ever, and I almost immediately forget what something is about within minutes of watching it or reading it. I'm like on into the next thing, so it's kind of like watching it for the first time. This is one. So for those of you who don't know about the Goonies, I'm sorry, and also dust off a VCR or a DVD player or find it on Amazon Prime or grab it in some way because it is absolutely iconic. But it came out in 1985. It is one that I watched a ton as a kid and then didn't watch for a really long time and rewatched recently for the show. It starts rough, so it's not the kind of movie that like I started watching it for again this time with my 9-year-old and had to like immediately turn it off and then like fast forward through the beginning and then put it back on again because the beginning part of this movie has like sexual references and like drug references. Like it's for a family movie. It is definitely a 1985 family movie. But to back up, it was actually conceived by Steven Spielberg, written by Chris Columbus, and directed by Richard Donner, who did the Lethal Weapon series. It is on a number of like top movies of all times list. It has a cult following. It actually made $125 million worldwide on a budget of 19 million. So it is sort of one of those gangbusters, incredibly iconic movies. One more fact, and then we'll jump into the plot. But in 2017, the film was actually selected for preservation in the United States National Film Registry. So it's that level of iconic. So hopefully, if you're watching and you have not yet seen this, please go and see this. I would describe this movie as an Indiana Jones, but for kids. The plot stars 4 best friends who find in one of the friends' attics a treasure map and immediately decide that they need to follow this treasure map to find the pirate treasure in order to save their community from being turned into a country club. So it is very much this like, I don't know, low to middle class, like community, family, friends story. And there's just something really absolutely sweet about it. They are joined by Mikey's older brother, who's played by Josh Brolin, which is one of his breakout films, who comes along because he's responsible for Mikey and has failed in letting this kid go off with his friends, like on this adventure in like the caves and oceanfront in Astoria, Oregon. There are bad guys who have just recently broken out of prison who they encounter along the way. One of the bad guys is a like deformed, incredibly friendly character who becomes just this like lovable, lovable icon throughout the movie. They follow the map, they get all the way to the treasure. There's an absolutely amazing reveal scene where there's a humongous pirate ship like inside a cave surrounded by water, and they're able to find this treasure, save the day, save their families, and send the bad guys back to jail.
Spoilers.
I know, spoilers. I feel like we're past spoilers. It came out in 1985. You should.
I have a rule on my show. If it's older than 3 years, tough luck.
Good. You and I are friends then, Mick. Yeah, no, it's I won't give every single aspect away because there's definitely lots of like booby traps and inventions and craziness along the way, but it's just a lot of fun from start to finish. And I was talking with Nat before we jumped on the show, and it's sad that they don't make movies like this anymore. So in kind of a world where it's easy for us to binge just about anything, including old movies, go back and watch some of these older ones because there's a magic in them that I think we've lost somewhere along the way. Like kids were like inventors and coming up with all these like crazy things, and like the amount of imagination and friendship. Like I wrote down in my notes, like this movie has the same kind of spirit as like The Sandlot and E.T. and Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Stand By Me, Now and Then. Like there were kind of this era of movies where it was these like close-knit best friends working together on some kind of adventure or mission or I don't know, crazy experience. Kids Against the World. Yeah. It was just a great overall experience.
If you like this movie, I don't know have you ever seen The Monster Squad?
I haven't, and that one came up in like as one that was like, if you've seen this, you should see that. So I did jot that one down actually.
It's the horror version of
Oh.
Goonies. You know, so you have
Perfect.
all the
We're
Universal
in.
monsters. That's who they're fighting. I really suggest it, especially if you're going with the 80s and 90s. That'd be a fun one. You know?
Carmen is saying she feels really old right now, or they feel really old.
Killing it in the comments.
Yeah. Don't. You're in. It's a safe space.
Love it.
It's a safe space.
Well, I saw it in theaters, so I mean, I get it.
I saw it in the theater. I loved it in the theater.
There you
It's
go.
it's in, I was
Yeah.
looking at the runtime. It's almost 2 hours, which is kind of long for a
It was
1985
long.
movie.
Wow.
Yeah.
But they made those 2 hours special. A lot
Yeah,
of them
every
did.
moment. It didn't feel long. Every moment is special. I did love. We always research facts for our show to like do kind of a fun fact. And apparently, I found a different fact that I didn't when we were originally doing this movie for our show, which was apparently Harrison Ford showed up on set and like explored the caves with the kids during filming, which I think is just incredible. All the way
That's
around.
awesome.
That's all.
Because it really does feel like I don't know, it feels like a kid version of Indiana Jones, which is
Yeah.
awesome because
Oh,
one of the
I-
plays
I-
in Indiana Jones. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I have trivia.
Who plays the female? Oh, sorry. Who plays the female lead
Martha
in that? What is her
Plimpton.
name? No.
Oh,
Martha
Oh,
Plimpton
gosh.
Martha
Martha
Plimpton
Plimpton
is
is
one
the
of the
lead.
leads,
Or
but
Anne
she's
Ramsey.
Yeah, there's two. There's
Yeah.
Steph and Andy. Andy is the love interest of
Andy.
his older brother. Yeah.
Whatever happened to that girl?
Yeah,
Did
I
she
don't
maybe
know.
spend one too many days on Nickelodeon set?
I know. That's the downfall of researching some of these old
produced
movies.
the
Oh,
There's
movie?
Carrie
Yeah.
Green. You mean
Oh.
Carrie Green?
Harry Green, yes. Isn't that her? The
It
long
looks like
hair.
she
She
hasn't
did
really-
Lucas.
She had like red hair. Yeah, she was in Lucas. You're right.
Oh, good call.
Yeah, she was in Lucas. There was a time she was the heartthrob. She was in like a John Candy, the summer rental. She was
Oh
the
my
hottest
god,
thing.
she was the daughter in
Yeah.
Summer Rental.
She was.
Yeah.
Right, so you're
We would like
blowing
to
me
see
out
her
of the water.
interviewed on Classic
Been a while.
Conversations. Can you
The
find her?
last big thing I've seen her and on her IMDb was in 2000 on an episode of ER.
Oh,
She
there you
was-
go.
Really?
Maybe she
She
just
was
left
in the
acting.
Goonies reunion.
Yeah, maybe she was just all done, which you can't blame them.
I
after a
will
while.
say, like, since we're talking about her,
I'm sorry.
ice cream.
Oh my god, that's crazy. I clicked on Google and like all of a sudden when it popped up, because I was looking her up, see like what's going on, because I knew she was a part of the Goonies reunion they did before
Okay,
Donner
well,
passed away.
so
Yeah.
Carrie Green. Here's some trivia for you.
Okay.
Of all the main cast members of the Goonies, is the only one that does not appear in Cyndi Lauper's video. The Goonies are good enough.
Oh, that makes me sad.
Well,
Why?
too much red hair in one video. It's too much.
Wow.
Cyndi Lauper was like, no.
And then Key is it Q?
I wrote down the pronunciation. It's Kiwi Kwan.
Kiwi
is what
Kwan,
he
short
said.
round. Short. I refer to him as.
Yeah,
I know him
there
as
you go.
short.
Yeah.
Oscar award-winning short
Right.
round.
Oscar award winner.
So
In the
do you know
weirdest
where
movie.
trivia? If the town had been sold, do you know what city his family was going to move to?
oh no, I don't.
Hmm.
I don't.
Ohio. And that's
Which
it.
is yeah,
Doesn't
which,
even say a city.
yeah,
it just says
maybe
Ohio.
and you're where you come from. That's a city, but
Just one. We drive right through it.
Detroit, which is why I
Yeah.
brought it up because why
Oh,
not?
they say
Oh.
Detroit. Did they actually say Detroit?
Yeah,
That's
Wow.
awesome.
and then and so yeah, it's funny. Okay, all right.
Well,
So
Good thing
is
they
it streaming anywhere? Do we know? I think you have to buy it, right?
You have to buy
rent
it or rent it on Prime,
Yeah.
unless you're special like us and you own either the VHS or the DVD, and you can.
I have the
play it.
DVD. It
There you go.
lived in my Tahoe's kids' DVD player.
Yeah.
I allowed my kids to watch the whole thing now.
Really?
Now I'm wondering if I've
No,
traumatized.
no, mine were little. It was more the shock of it because, like, we put it in, and my husband actually had never seen it, and so which was shocking to me. I just assumed he had, and we were like a couple minutes in, and he was like, "Is this really what we want to do as a family movie tonight?" I was like, "Yeah, I guess we'll just fast forward through this a bit."
Well, I remember like it could have been 10 years ago. We were watching Friends, and the kids, my daughters, were watching
Yeah,
Friends. So
Did not age
or-
well.
early
yeah.
teens.
Friends has some moments.
Yeah,
where
well, it's like sex, and we were like, should we turn it off? And we're like, we're already 12 sex in. Like, its damage is done.
We're done. Just continue on.
Yeah, just. But
My brother watching Goonies for the first time as an adult, like in his probably mid 20s, late 20s, he's like, can we pause the movie for a second? The whole time these kids are talking about like the pirate that had this treasure, that hid this treasure, and his name is One-Eyed Willie.
Yeah,
He's like,
yeah.
the whole
He's
movie's a
straight up
dick
One-Eyed
joke,
Willie.
and I'm
Yeah,
like,
the whole movie.
I
Yeah.
was like, Andrew, don't ruin it for me.
Yeah.
So now
Yeah.
every time they say it, I'm like, oh, come on.
Like the glass broke.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Right.
one that kids would never notice or think of until they hit a certain age, I suppose. But
I mean, Ghostbusters had a blowjob scene.
oh yeah, Ghostbusters. Yeah,
So I mean, it's and
It
that's
was
that's
the
arguably one
80s.
of the biggest kids movies of all time.
yeah.
Well,
And-
Not
I
appropriate.
I mean,
for
never
everything.
heard
everything,
of
all
Chris
those have. Well, Batman had a ton of innuendo.
Oh, yeah.
Batman 66 had a ton of innuendo too.
Yep.
It was
But I've still never heard a kid talk about it.
well,
Yeah.
it's,
No, I
when they
feel
do
like
it at
there's
different
some-
levels.
Yeah.
That was part of the point of Quiet on Set, by the way, was
Yeah, that's
How
what I'm
much-
waiting for someone to say.
was that
all
they were
about-
doing all the innuendo, but the point where they felt that was wrong was like, who's the innuendo for?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a
Oh.
pure kid show, and it's
Yeah.
like, and it's anyway. Okay, all right, Goonies, that you nailed it. Good job. That was
Thanks,
awesome.
great movie.
Thank you.
Great movie. And then let's keep that momentum going. Let's keep that Katie Natalie momentum going. And let's talk about Clueless. This is one of my favorite movies.
Oh, so good.
Yes. So Clueless, borrowing from Jane Austen's book Emma, actually, borrowing, we'll say, is about the high school it girl Cher and her best friend Dion, which I love the nod to the like iconic diva singers with those names. But so the it girl takes under her wing the new girl Ty, who joins the school or who starts going to school there, and she gives her like, they go on a shopping spree, they have a makeover, gets dating advice, she tries to set them up, and Cher realizes that she really likes the sort of matchmaking, so she extends it not just from her personal orbit but to like her teachers and other people she keeps trying to set up. And she realizes when sometimes it might go well and sometimes it doesn't, and she kind of has this coming of age realization that things don't always go the way we want them because we have good intentions, and she's able to reflect that on herself. Not to give away too much of the plot, I guess, but
Spoilers.
that's the gist of it.
I think we're good.
I think we're good.
Yeah. What I think stands out about this movie is not a lot of teen movies do this, and I can off the top of my head think of Clueless and Pretty in Pink, is that they really take a snap portrait of that year, of that time period. Like, this movie is kind of the reference point for the 90s. It has the fashion, the music, the
lingo.
It created some of the lingo that we still use because it's so quotable as F. And it's just even like Coolio rolling with the homies. You say that and everybody does the sort of lean back. Just any kid even nowadays who is looking like, oh, we're gonna have a 90s party, they'll like look up Clueless to see what they should wear. And it just has that sort of almost transcendence of fashion and music that seems to really sit with people still. It's one of those where this movie, much like Goonies, I don't think will be remade or shouldn't, guys. I'm putting it out there. Don't do it. Don't even try. Because it's something that's still so much in our pop cultural reference. Yeah, it's great cast. We have Alicia Silverstone, Paul Rudd. When I was looking up some fun facts for this, quite a lot of people reference this as Paul Rudd's debut. It's not, but you know, it's a couple years out. It's in the same decade, I guess, as his debut into acting. But we love Paul Rudd. He looks the same in this movie
He's
as he
ageless.
does today.
Do you think
First of
this
all,
is
Paul
where
Rudd.
people like first remembered him from, though?
Yeah.
No.
maybe.
Absolutely.
Halloween 6.
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
Hello.
Was Halloween
Oh.
6 before Clueless?
I believe
Wow.
it was. Yeah.
Probably.
I believe it was about a
What
year or
about
two
Brittany
before.
Murphy? What about that poor
Yeah,
girl?
Yes.
Brittany
Oh,
Murphy
she's
was
gorgeous.
great. R.I.P.
was
Brittany
great.
Murphy. She has
What
one of my
I-
favorite lines in the movie too.
What's your favorite line?
I have to. There's two. This movie I know I told you guys this. Like there isn't a time where I'm not somewhere with my wife where one of us won't say, let's do a lap before we commit to a location.
Yeah.
That's from Clueless.
Yeah.
That's when they're at the party, right?
Yeah.
And the other thing that I think that Brittany Murphy says, it makes me laugh anytime I hear her say it, and I love saying it, is like where she goes, hopefully not sporadically,
Mm.
you know.
I think what always
Yeah.
sat weird with me with Brittany Murphy's character was that she was sort of portrayed as the frumpy, chubby, ugly girl. And then, you know, she had this wonderful makeover montage and then she's suddenly hot. But not automatically popular because she's a bit chubby, which I was like, the girl's like 90 pounds soaking wet, but okay. Which I guess fits with the portrait of the 90s. And it's
I was gonna say it's
really toxic diet culture.
yeah, she's all that was the same. I was like, oh, she's wearing glasses and has a ponytail. She's ugly.
Right.
Now
Or-
she's pretty.
Or like
Yeah,
the
she's wearing
princess,
plaid,
what's the one where she becomes a princess? She goes from curly hair to straight
Oh,
hair.
Princess Diaries. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Crazy hair and glasses. Yeah, it's
Well,
always the hair and the glasses.
Brittany Murphy's didn't fit in. I always thought because she was independent.
Yeah,
Like she didn't care what other people thought in the movie. She became unlikable when she became someone who did, and then became likable again at the end when she went back to being her independent self. You know, she liked the boy that no one thought she should be with because she thought that was cool, that he could
Yeah.
skateboard. Who
It
who
was
doesn't love that?
very John Hughes showed like all the different sort of high school cliques. Very Breakfast Club reference. And she was like the stoner skater girl and not the popular. I was gonna say cheerleader, but Cher's definitely not a cheerleader. I love the gym scene where they're just like, I have a note. Like, they're just gonna stand there in their cute little outfits and chew gum, you know,
Yeah.
instead of playing tennis or whatever it was at their posh Beverly Hills school.
Mhm.
Stacey Dash, I like in this movie too.
Yeah.
And Donald Faison
Yeah.
pre-Scrubs
Pre-Scrubs. Yeah.
Mhm.
is
He's
great.
he's likable, even playing a character that's supposed to be like somewhat vapid and ridiculous. You're like, I still kind of like him. I can't help but he's just something about his personality shines through in a likable way.
Yeah,
And
and
Wallace
They do a
Shawn
really
is in
good
this.
job in this. Like for the time, you know, capturing the 90s and the time, like even like that exaggerated. They did such a great job for this.
Yeah, it's a lot of the stuff like going like a shopping spree at the mall. It's like I don't think do kids still go to the mall? Are there still malls? And they going to the valley to go to a house party, and even I'm like, I guess kids still have house parties, right? They must.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
they
I'm sure
can't
they
go to
do.
like the field to. I mean, they just record everything nowadays too on their phones. So like kids, you know, it's the 11th commandment, thou shalt not get caught, which was, you know, we had that privilege in the 90s still. Now
Yeah.
kids film and post everything. I'm like, oh, you're going to get caught.
But Alicia Silverstone played that character so well. Like all the things she said, like I remember when they were giving to the poor and she's coming down with the ski equipment. But she really thought this was like,
She was
Now-
really well meaning in it. Yeah.
if we're going to talk about Clueless, though, let's give a few nods to Amy Heckerling, who was the director of this movie, who also brought us Fast Times at Ridgemont High,
Yeah.
Look Who's Talking,
Wayne's World.
and
Oh, that's
unfortunately also Look Who's Talking Now,
Yeah.
and Look
Yeah,
Who's Talking
less of
Too.
a good one.
But we'll forget that for a second. She had some classics. She was
Yeah, and she had such a good way of, again, like akin to John Hughes, who was like the sort of, he's still, I think, to date, like if you talk about a coming of age movie and writing that script, you look to him, but she's also was able to pull that off and to pull from, you know, great classic references and really show sort of that teenage emotion
Yeah.
that, you know,
Mhm.
we forget when we grow up, but you can watch the movie and be like, oh yeah, like these things like having a high school crush and all of those sort of teen things, feels that you get. And she really had a good way of showing that. And you can always cue back into it by watching something like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish they
I-
would bring back book adaptations. Like book and play adaptations was like a thing for a
Yeah.
while in the 90s, and a
Yeah,
lot
this
of them were
actually
really well
was
done.
this kind of blew it up. There was a bunch of Shakespeare ones.
10 Things I Hate About
Get
You.
10
Yeah.
Things I Hate About You, Get Over It, with Amanda Bynes, She's the Man, which is
Oh yeah, that's
super funny.
Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, Romeo and Juliet.
That
Yeah,
was a little more on
Which
the
one was
nose.
that based on?
I think The Tempest.
yeah, that would be
Okay.
hilarious. Absolutely.
No, but I mean, even to take it that route, though, no, it is more on the nose because they use dialogue, but it is very much a style
modern,
of the
yeah,
time.
a
Very
style of
modern.
writing.
Modernized
Yeah.
take. So, like, I would argue that a lot of people might say that Romeo and Juliet was more a testament to the style of the times.
Yeah, that's actually a
than
good
this
point.
movie.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was, I find Romeo and Juliet was like a hyper exaggeration of sort of like that sort of 90s like color and pop and the music, the rapid fire dialogue. That one, I mean, Katie and I did a whole episode on that, and we could probably do a whole other episode on just how the dialogue was developed and then portrayed through visual effects as well.
I had that
it's
entire play
important.
memorized because of
Yeah.
that movie. It was like I probably still could recite most of Romeo and Juliet, and it's entirely because of that movie.
Who's in the movie?
Pardon me?
Who's in Romeo and Juliet? What actors?
DiCaprio, Claire Danes.
Yeah, DiCaprio
right,
and Claire Danes.
right.
And it was made by Baz Luhrmann.
Oh, who did Moulin Rouge?
Yeah, it's in
Yeah.
the
I
Red
love
Curtain
Moulin
trilogy.
Rouge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So the one last thing about Clueless, you can tell me if I'm crazy or not. The only thing that ever kind of I found a little awkward was that she ends up with her stepbrother.
Yeah.
Another
I mean,
spoiler.
it's all red, so
Not his-
forgivable.
They're not together anymore. Their parents weren't together. They're not stepbrother and stepsister
they're
anymore.
They're
ex-
former.
They're
But they were at a point. They were brother. I'm not saying
Okay.
that was
You know,
And
take
she was,
your
like,
child,
17 and he was, like,
separate, and then see
I'm
how
just
this
saying,
goes.
you know,
if you're still cool with it.
it didn't ruin the movie for me. I just thought, that was always a little
It is
It was
it
a
is
weird.
weird. Yeah, it's a
Like,
weird
also,
decision.
why does an adult man in university have interest in a high school kid?
Yeah.
Did you see how short her skirt was?
I know, but it's
Some
so
ideas.
curvy.
Who
Well,
looks
how-
better
how
in
in-
knee
how
highs?
into- But that was the 80s also.
Yeah.
Remember, she's out of control. I mean, that was about a 15-year-old. So,
Yeah.
yeah. So
I mean, even
drew
Fast
different
Times
lines
at
back then.
Ridgemount High had that
Yeah.
whole bathing suit scene.
true. All right, amazing. Look at that. You both knocked it out of the park the first time.
Nice job.
You're gonna come back every week. All right, we have one more show to talk about for this episode. I want to see this bad.
Oh, looks so good.
Godzilla X Con. Is it X? Is that how you say it? Because the other one was
Yeah,
like
they're
Godzilla,
just saying go Godzilla X-Con.
the new Empire.
Stupid American marketing.
It looks great though.
It really, yeah. Like ever since that Batman v Superman, it's like that didn't work. Why do you keep copying it? Like,
What-
I love this movie. I'm not comparing it to Batman versus Superman.
I don't.
It is exactly what I was expecting.
Right. Well, aren't they in a big fight? And then Kong is all over them. And then Godzilla goes, Martha.
That's it. You've seen it. You must have seen it.
I saw the movie. I didn't mean
There
to.
you go,
Oh,
you
sorry.
got it
I
right
should have
there.
said spoiler first. Go ahead.
Kind of.
Is this part of?
Yeah.
Is this part of? I only realized recently. There's been years of these Godzilla, Kong, Mothra movies, and they're actually all connected. They're all a series.
Oh.
Is this part of that series? Because I know they've been coming out even recently on
So,
Netflix.
shameless plug. There's been 70 years of Godzilla, and we're doing a retrospective over on the Scene Snobs weekly. You can check it out.
I'm writing
We've
that
watched. I've literally watched every Godzilla thing there is since January 1st.
That's so cool.
Not over.
I love it.
That's like over 40
Nick, I have a
films.
DVD box set. I'll go down the stairs and take a picture of it for you.
Good,
of the
thank you.
Godzilla. My
I
favorite
know
was
exactly-
Monster Island and the little baby Godzilla, and he go shoot the.
Yep. And that means you're gonna love this. Because those were the Showa era Godzilla. The Showa is the early days, the first 15 films, those films that were like Godzilla versus this, Godzilla versus that, the Astro Monster, all that. So like the really wild, fun ones that just kind of threw everything out there, didn't really care much about the humanistic element of it, and you just had fun. That's what this is. This is connected to 5 films in a television series. Legendary Pictures is making it's called the Monsterverse. It started with 2014's Godzilla on the 60th anniversary. So this is the 70th anniversary of Godzilla. And this is, I think, the 40th film. And then, it's just continued on. And they've built this franchise all around these 2 mega kaiju fighting. And finally, they're on the same team in this one. And they're fighting some other mega kaiju. And that's exactly what you're going to get. The movie's not perfect. The human element sucks. You don't care about any of the characters, which ultimately you
I don't want to. It's about
Exactly.
Godzilla.
Exactly. You're going to love it because the music is very synth 80s pop.
Nice.
I'm in.
I think that works. That works with the motif. You get all of the story you need from the Kong storyline and the Godzilla storyline. They actually have personality in it. They build up to this fight. It's a good time. I don't want to give too much away. I think it's still in theaters. I want everybody to get out and go and see it. I think this is one of those movies where it's, with as much crap as we're getting from the higher ups at these studios now, this is not perfect. I'm not saying this should be a representation of art. But if we're getting such good artwork from the Indie Center, and A24 and like those higher ups, those indie units, then guys, give us stuff like this. It's fun.
It's got a place. There needs to be
That's
both.
why I like these movies.
We need both.
I don't want a thinker. I want to see some monsters battle. Entertainment value max, please.
I love it.
So this was the original Godzilla versus Kong.
Actually, it's funny. It's not Godzilla versus Kong because there was a battle over it between America and Toho. It's actually called King Kong versus Godzilla because America was like, no, our guy first, even though Godzilla was the bigger draw. And there's 2 versions of that movie. There's a Japanese version and an American version where each wins.
Phew, excuse me.
Bless you. So I've learned a lot of Godzilla in a very short period of time.
That's very interesting. Okay, so this is a super fun movie. Don't worry about all the other human elements. Tell me, answer this, Mick, because since you're the Godzilla expert, so Godzilla -1, people had the opposite feeling for, right? They said it was an amazing human story, a very amazing, and it won an Oscar, first Godzilla movie to win an Oscar, which didn't get enough play, I don't think. But what is the difference between that Godzilla series and this Godzilla?
So Toho is the mother company of Godzilla and these characters, Rodan, Mothra, all these like well, I'm not even gonna say side characters, like major characters, Ghidorah, things like that. They've all had their own movies, their own franchises. This being an American version, the Legendary Pictures, this is, it's being produced by many people who have worked on past Godzilla films for Toho, overseeing everything, but is very much an American production. Toho's answer to that has been a lot of very interesting things over the past 10 years. They put out Shin Godzilla, which is a fantastic look and representation of what happened during the nuclear their fallout in 2012 and the bureaucracy they had to deal with. Godzilla's always been, for Japan, representation of man building the atomic bomb. He's just destruction. So that's what Godzilla -1 added up to. Like, they also did a series which I thought was fantastic for Netflix. It's a trilogy of anime Godzilla films I just watched, and absolutely fantastic. But Godzilla -1 is without a doubt not just one of the best Godzilla films, not just the best Godzilla film, but hands down one of the best films I've ever seen, and better than anything that came out last year.
Wow.
and it bothers me that like Oppenheimer, which I liked, is a great film, was not as good. But you're gonna get Oscars are Oscars.
Yeah, Oscar. There's a specific Oscar movie.
It's a bought and
Vibe.
paid for campaign. Like
Yeah.
actors
Oscars
are asked,
don't
"Do
like
you want
it
to
when you
campaign
can-
for this movie?" And they spend
Yeah.
years campaigning it. So yeah,
It's a
like
vibe.
running for office.
If you tell all the big bad studio people and Oscar people that you can read with subtitles, they get very uneasy. They don't like that.
Mm.
So, Mick, important question. When are they going to bring back Gamera? The flying
Gamera is
turtle?
not Gamera. See, that's common misconception. Gamera is nothing to do with Godzilla. He's a different company completely.
Oh.
He had
Gamera
about-
isn't part of Godzilla?
Mm-mm. No, it's a
I feel like
different.
I
It's not
used
even
to-
Toho.
You mean
There is
Gamera is like his own little thing?
And he has his own side characters and stuff like that too. Actually, most of the characters you see that have shown up in Godzilla Godzilla helped build their popularity as characters because he was such a popular character. You know, kaiju was such a big thing for so long in Japan. You know, not all that means is monsters, so it's just giant monsters fighting.
And
Wait a minute.
Godzilla shoots fire out of his mouth, right?
No, he shoots atomic blast. No, yeah, basically.
Okay.
You're wrong.
Same shit.
There's another Nickelodeon thing right there. But anyway, what
Wait, so-
about King Kong? Does King Kong do anything? Like I feel like Godzilla's gonna win at everything with that atomic blast. I just don't understand how anyone has any chance.
Let's just put it this way. After
Godzilla has
watching this
small
movie,
arms, but Godzilla has small
Yes.
arms.
not in this movie for some
Oh.
reason, he's got giant
Kong
arms.
can be all like, I'm a gorilla, and be like all gorilla-y.
I don't know.
Hey, all I know
so-
is that somebody
money's
with a really
always on
big
Godzilla.
rifle, and they're gonna Harambe Kong.
Wait, so is this why
what's gonna happen.
Gamera kind of looks like King Kong, except they're like, put a turtle shell on him. We don't want to get sued. Put a turtle shell on him.
Oh.
And then,
Oh,
and then give him
Let's
some
do that.
teeth, some saber-toothed teeth.
Gamera was popular in his own right. He's been around forever. He's just had a special come out on Netflix not too long ago too. I think he has about 20 films. Like so, Godzilla is clearly for 70 films and all, you know, for 70 years and like over 40 films, TV shows, stuff like that. Like he's the clear winner. He's a clear king. But you know, Gamera is definitely no slouch. He's popular.
Wait, there was a recent Gamera?
Mhm.
And wait, what? And there's 20 movies? I remember one movie. There was one movie.
There's a lot, man.
That's all I
You might
remember.
be remembering several just as one.
I'm kind
Wow.
of I'm in shock that he's not part of Godzilla.
He's
Well,
bigger than Adam Sandler.
He was Godzilla's like competition for a little while. For
As soon
very
as you're
little.
done Brooklyn Nine-Nine, you're gonna need to move into this.
I
to
got
binge
20
away for
I
this.
gotta go. I got 20 Gamera movies to catch up on. Oh my goodness. All right. Okay.
All right, awesome.
I love it. I'm excited to check it out. I think it's gonna be
And
But
great.
where
I
can I
would-
watch it?
It's in theaters
Theater.
right now, but like if you
Oh.
wanted to catch up and watch everything, it's there's 5 films in this and a television show.
Monarch's a
okay.
good show.
Monarch was I really loved it. So it's a really good show that I think you'll like. But it's Godzilla, Kong Skull Island, Godzilla King of the Monsters, Godzilla versus Kong, and now this one. So
Okay.
you'll get, and they're going to continue on. This just went over $2 billion. So
Some of
There's
them had
no way.
big name
Oh.
actors too. Wasn't Tom Hiddleston and Alexander Skarsgård and Like,
Tom
there were-
Hiddleston was in the original Kong movie.
he was in
Yeah.
that Kong movie. Yeah,
But that was like a
so-
flashback, that movie. So he would have been dead before. And the only way they got John Goodman back was it was sort of a flashback in the
for the
Monarch
TV show for a little bit. Yeah.
That was kind of like a flashback though, for something he did that then they brought forward. The Monarch show is fun, but if at some point it has the same plot as Quantumanium.
That's
But
fair.
anyway,
Done better.
yes, much better. So, all right, that was awesome. This is the end of the show. We
We did
we
it.
have done
Yeah.
we have done well. We've served served the community well today.
Good
Thank you
suggestions.
both, Katie and Natalie. Katie, actually, I'll let Natalie go first. Natalie,
Oh.
remind everyone, where they can find you and all that kind of stuff. And you can plug your podcast and all that again.
So Katie and I host the VHS Club podcast. It's live most Thursdays at 9 p.m. Eastern on YouTube. You could find it usually uploaded shortly thereafter, a day or two after, on whichever platform you listen to your podcasts. We have an Instagram account, and that's about all we're using right now. We also have a website, the VHS Club pod.com. Yeah.
Very cool. Katie, anything you want to add?
No, this was super fun. We're always up for talking movies.
Awesome.
I'll join us on the Scene Snobs. We do that a lot.
Yeah. I'm not joking when I say I'm going to catch up on some Godzilla and join the show. I think it'll be great.
Please,
Mick, say good. Tell everyone about your Godzilla retrospectives
Well, guys, thank you, Lee. I want to give you a special thank you, Jerry, if you're out there. Thank you, guys, Carmen. Appreciate you guys having me back. I had a lot of fun talking about it. You know me, I'm from the Scene Snobs, Mick Manhattan. We're live every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. We're going to be live on our Patreon and Discord every Wednesday. Don't worry, we're not going to interfere with you, Jeff. Earlier on with our trailer show, starting in 2 weeks, Thursdays. Tomorrow we'll be at Horror Conversations. That's right. And then I will be on Sir Sturdy's podcast talking about April Fool's Day. And then make sure to check out these wonderful women's podcasts right after us. They'll be live. And then Friday, we're at the Outcasts, a bunch of podcasters all together, just talking some crap and having some fun. So join us on that. And then let's have a good time.
That's awesome.
Marcy?
Well, you know, you're going to find me on Wednesdays at 9:30 at Crossing the Streams. Apparently, I've got a new song to write.
You do have a new song. So do that. And you can listen to Classic Conversations with Jeff Dwoskin, where I talked to famous people from a while ago. Super fun. That's it. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate you. Hang on. Let me throw that theme song up. Close it out. Say good night and thank you for joining the Crossing the Streets. I don't have the end anymore. It was like with your guest. La 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 la. All right, we're done.